of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I send you to burn. Fire. I send you to learn.
Odyssey Camper here. Today I want to show you a couple of ways you can start a fire if it's kind of damp outside. Maybe the tinder's a little damp, you're having a little trouble with the matches. The first one is a variation on an old Boy Scout trick, which is using a piece of steel wool and a battery. But here I'm going to use the Die Hard jump pack, which provides a lot more current than a battery from a flashlight would. I've got a couple of carriage bolts here, just zinc plated carriage bolts, and those are to get the hot spot back far enough that I don't melt my leads. And so what I'm going to do is turn it over to jump start and get this going and put my tinder right on top here, get that ready. And I've got a stick handy so I don't have to stick my finger down there. Switch it over to jump start. We'll get a little bit of glowing action going there. And there goes our tinder. And then you can just toss that into your tinder pile, get your fire started. The other tool I like to use is the Light My Fire by Mora knife. And if you're not familiar with Mora knives, I'll put a link down in the bottom. But basically this one has a nice carbon steel blade, and in the back it's got a tool for starting fires. So it has a striker tool, which I'll demonstrate in a second. One thing I really like about these is the sheath. It has a little belt loop on there. You can bring it hiking with you, and you've always got a means to start a fire with you. It's also reasonably long. If you had to use it in self-defense, it would probably work for that. I wouldn't want to get poked by one. And you know, if you ever get searched or something, you have a good reason for having it. Use it to start your campfire. So to use it properly, you want to hold the blade perpendicular to the striker and then slowly move your knife along it. You don't want to hack at it because it's just going to cut your finger. So grab your tinder. By the way, I like to use a couple layers of TP. Find that works pretty good for tinder. And I'll just start striking that until it falls down. I get a little spark there. And once it gets going, there we go. I can just drop that in wherever I'm going to start my fire. Let that go. See if it happens in real time here. I'm using an emberlit stove. If you're not familiar with those, I'll put a link down in the bottom, but they're awesome for small fires. They have a level top. You can put your cooking utensil on there, boil water, and they'll burn just about anything. And you can either feed it through the top, this way, or you can slowly add fuel in through the front. So put that in through the front. And then as your fire gets bigger, you can slowly add more fuel. That way, when you have something on top, and you've got something on top that's cooking, you don't have to worry about taking it off to add fuel. And it creates a nice draft. It'll burn just about anything that can burn. I've used it to burn pine cones and bark.
Cool. Fire, 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 fire.
And if you backpack, this comes in a titanium version. Mine's stainless, which I find easier to clean. But if you were backpacking, I'd probably spring for the little bit extra and get the titanium one. And once that burns down just a little bit, you can put your pan right on top of that directly. I hope you found this helpful. It's really not that hard to get a fire going, even with wet materials, as long as you have dry tinder. But you want to practice a little bit. If you're going to use either one of these methods, before you head out, do it a couple times in the driveway like I am. And actually, I'm doing it in my garage because it's kind of misting out. Make sure you got it down before you go out and try to do it in the dark. All right, Odyssey Camper, we'll talk to you soon.